Hi, friends. Welcome to Friday, October 16th. I missed you yesterday, and I can't wait to see your two Flipgrids for today. So, boys and girls, if you did not finish your reading Flipgrid from last week, go find that one for Pinky and Rex because I have, I think, 8 people that have submitted it, and there's 16 of us in class. So, make sure you complete last week's Flipgrid for Pinky and Rex. And then today's Flipgrid. So let's look at our calendar. Today is the 16th. What are some things that you can tell me about today? Yep, I think you're going to tell me it's circle. I think you are already thinking that it's orange, that there's a 10 and a 6. It's an even number because it has that 6 and it can be divided equally amongst 2 teams, right? I think you might be telling me that there are curved lines with no line segments. And I think that we can say this word congruent that we've used a couple times. Congruent means it's the same size, same shape as all the other orange circles. Nice job. All right, so we're going into week 4, day 5 of Ivy and Bean. So when we say week 4, day 5, you can find week 4, day 5 in your Bookworms book. So when you are looking at your Flipgrid Friday, you can write your answer down first in your Bookworms and then explain it, or you could just use that as your guide to explain it. All right, so for our word study today, since it's Friday, we don't have any word study words. So share, why do you think Ivy wanted to keep the spot a secret? I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys think on Monday. So why did she want to keep that spot a secret? We might even find the answer out today. Let's keep going. So vocabulary for today is a review of our words. So we had relationship, mischievous, creative, and suspense. I know that in each chapter we've had suspense. It keeps happening where the author finish up that chapter and all I want to do is find out what happened next, right? I also know creative. Who is more creative, Ivy or Bean? At this point, who do you think? I have my own opinion. Part of me thinks Ivy's more creative because she's creating things to do and play with by herself. But we also read that Bean is kind of creative with her pranks and her mischievous ways, right? And I think Bean's also created some games on her own. So which one do you think would be more creative if you had to pick one? Mischievous? Totally thinking Bean. But this last chapter, did anybody else think that Ivy was showing some mischievous ways? Yeah. And relationship, I think most of us know that relationship. Relationship is your family members, right? Or your friends. It's a relationship you have with somebody. You can also have good relationships and bad relationships. So I'm hoping that helped you. Creative means you're thinking outside the box. You're doing new things. Suspense means you just can't wait to find out. It added excitement. And mischievous means you're doing things, not doing them to be bad, but you're definitely doing some off the wall things to cause trouble in a good way. All right, so right now we're going to choral read because it builds our fluency and it builds our vocabulary. Our vocabulary is the words, our spoken words every day. What does it look like? It means you're looking at the book. You're reading quietly with me as I'm reading to you. And I'm reading the entire time. And today I'm going to make this video so much shorter than yesterday. I'm sorry about that long video. So, chapter 5, Ivy hatches a plan. What do you think she's planning? Why does she need to hatch a plan? Is she hatching a plan to do something to Bean? Or is she hatching a plan to help Bean? I wonder. So let's go find out. And a really cool thing, we're going to look for evidence that both Ivy and Bean are creative. So which one do we think is more when we talked about that earlier? All right, so get your books ready. Open up to Ivy Hatches a Plan. I'll take a sip of my water right now because while you're getting ready. Alrighty, let's go. You're going to be reading with me quietly, or as loud as you want because we don't have the class going on. Bean opened her eyes. They were in a corner of Ivy's backyard. There was a big rock on one side and a small tree on the other side. Between them was a perfectly round puddle. This is the secret spot, asked Bean. I want to stop right here because good readers are sitting here thinking, what the heck does she have as a perfectly round puddle? Why did they say that perfectly round puddle? I'm thinking that puddle is going to come back to us. Let's see. I could be wrong. The good readers are thinking as they're reading. She expected something more secret looking, like a cave. Yes, they'll never find you here, said Ivy. You can stay for as long as you want. I'll bring you food. But I only need to stay until dinner time, Bean said. Ivy looked disappointed. I thought you wanted to run away. I do, but only till dinner. Oh. Bean felt bad about not staying. Would you get in trouble if your parents found out I was living here? She asked. They don't come out here much, Ivy said. My mom is afraid of ticks. You probably don't ever get in trouble anyway, said Bean, feeling glum. I'm always in trouble. I do get in trouble, said Ivy. No, you don't, Bean said. You read books all the time. You can't get in trouble for reading books. Ivy said, I will get in trouble. Really huge trouble. If I do what I want to do. What I plan to do. Boys and girls, do you see how they italicized this word plan? Italicized means it's slanting it because the author wants that word to stand out. Ivy is saying what I plan to do. You feeling the suspense? Do you want to know what Ivy wants to plan to do? So do I. That's a good writer when I can't wait to turn the page. Here we go. Bean waited. Well, what do you plan to do? I've looked all around before, she whispered. Spells, magic, potions. Really? You mean like a witch? Yes. Well, not yet. But I'm going to be a witch, said Ivy. Her eyes were glowing. I'm learning how. Bean looked at Ivy's black bathrobe. It was kind of dirty now, and some of the little pieces of paper had fallen off. Bean saw that the papers were cut into a star and moon shapes. Bean also saw that Ivy didn't know how to draw stars. Some of them had 4 points, and some only had 3. The moon didn't look so good either. Is that a witch's robe? She asked. Yeah, said Ivy. Did you make it yourself? Asked Bean. Yeah. It's nice, said Bean politely. Does she really think it's nice? No. Sometimes you have to be polite. You don't want to be rude to people. So you just say, oh, it's nice, because you know she's proud of it, right? Kind of tells us that Bean isn't all bad, is she? It didn't look like a witch's robe. It looked goofy. I didn't know you could learn to be a witch. I just thought you had to be one. There's those italicized words standing out. That's what most people think, said Ivy. But I'm learning I probably know more than most born witches my age. I just learned the spell that makes you invisible. Wow, Bean could use that for sure. Will you teach me? That would be great. I can see Bean doing it to get in trouble. Well, this is a long chapter. I haven't done it yet, Ivy admitted. You've got to have a dead frog. Oh, it would be really mean to kill a frog. Yeah. That's why I dug this pond. I pointed to the puddle with her gold stick. Ivy pointed to her puddle. I'm hoping a frog will come here and die. Wow, my thought at the beginning where they specified the perfectly round circle did come back. So I think Ivy's hoping, as it said, the frog's going to jump in there and just die on its own so she doesn't have to kill it. She may be waiting a long time. Bean didn't mention that it looked like a puddle. Wow, she said. What's the stick for? That's my wand, said Ivy. Bean couldn't help it. She burst out laughing. That's not a wand. That's just a stick, painted gold. It is too a wand. Now Ivy looked mad. And you better watch out, or I'll use it on you. Bean stopped laughing. Use it how? I'll cast the dancing spell on you. You won't be able to stop dancing for the rest of your life. Like this. She started jumping up and down, kicking out her legs and waggling her arms. Could you really? Asked Bean. Ivy stopped dancing. Maybe. I was just going to test it when you started yelling about being a ghost. Who were you going to test it on? Asked Bean. I can't wait to find out who. Ivy's face turned red. Nobody, she said. Bean could tell she was lying. Come on, who? Ivy's face got redder. Come on, tell me, said Bean. Ivy looked in the dirt. You, she said in a low voice. Oh, I can't wait to find out why. And looking at this picture, they're smiling. Me? Yelped Bean. What did I ever do to you? I'm sorry, said Ivy. She did look sorry. That's okay, Bean said. There was a pause. My mother keeps on saying, what a nice girl you are, Ivy said. She's always telling me I should play with you. It's driving me nuts. Anybody going like this and saying, that's what Bean's mom keeps saying to her. So Ivy's mom's telling them they should play, and Bean's mom's telling them they should play. Maybe they should play. Bean couldn't believe it. That's what my mother says about you. That's so funny, but you're not nice at all. You're a witch. Ivy giggled. You're not very nice either. You were doing that ghost thing in the bush. Bean was embarrassed. The part about the icy fingers was good, said Ivy. What were you doing in there, anyway? Bean sat down on the rock. I was waiting for Nancy. That's my sister. She's a total pain in the kazoo. I put $20 on a string and I was going to pull it out of her hand when she reached down to pick it up. Ivy nodded. Is that why she got mad at you? No, she got mad at me because it was her $20. Bean felt glum again. They use that word glum twice. So glum is meaning that she's feeling kind of sad and bummed out, right? Ivy saw that Bean was worrying. Are you going to be in trouble? Yeah, probably. I'm not supposed to mess with her money, Bean thought. You don't have a going back in time spell, do you? No, those are hard, said Ivy. She looked at her pond. I wish I had a dead frog. That would be good, said Bean. But wait a second. What about the dancing spell? Could you put it on Nancy? So she'll dance for the rest of her life? How is that going to get you out of trouble? Ivy asked. It's not, said Bean, but it would be really funny. It would be kind of funny if they could put that spell on her. So, what evidence from the text proves that Ivy and Bean are both creative? Think about it. What's the first thing that pops out of your mind? If you're thinking what I'm thinking, you're thinking one, they're both mischievous, right? Ivy's proving she's mischievous. She wanted to do a spell on Bean. Bean wanted to play a trick on her sister. So they're both creative in that Ivy was planning on casting a spell on Bean, and Bean was creative because she was creating that prank on her sister. And then she became a ghost, which was kind of creative as well. All right. If you're going to partner read, which I highly suggest you do, find your mom, find your brother, find your sister, and reread the portion of the text that we just did. Think about why the girls might become friends. I have an idea brewing in my head right now. I'm hoping you do too. So if you're going to partner focus and partner read, right now you can just pause the video, go read another section. I think part of the way you can do it is if you come back to, even if you didn't want to read all of it, if you came back to here, I thought that was cool because Bean was laughing. She couldn't stop bursting out laughing. There was a part where, oh, I like this part too. I don't know, maybe read the last 4 pages, and I think you'll get an idea of why they're going to be best friends. All right. You go ahead and read, pause me out, and then come on back. Now for the discussion. Let's think about a couple of these. We're not going to go over all of them because there's 5 of them. But what evidence is there that Ivy wants to be friends with Bean? If you're thinking what I'm thinking, it's because Ivy cast the spell on her. She probably really did want to play with Bean, but they're so different, and Bean's always doing some stuff with other people. Ivy probably didn't feel a chance that she could do it, right? Or go up and meet her. How are the girls similar? We've touched on this one, haven't we? They're both mischievous. They're both kind of creative. They're both a little ornery. And you know what? They're both really kind and in the heart, right? How does Ivy make Bean interested in her witch project? This one's a little hard. Could it have been when she said she wanted to play a prank on Nancy on this last page? Could you put it on Nancy? Right? I think she got interested right there, right? She also got interested right up here when she talked about the invisible spell, right? The invisibility spell, right? Because Bean was thinking, this would be great if I could just become invisible. I can't get in trouble, right? So I would think that invisibility spell was a good time when they were getting, Bean was getting excited about wanting to learn, or in her witch project, because she wants those spells. Why do both girls want to cast a spell on Nancy? This question's interesting because I don't know if, do you think Ivy wanted to cast a spell on her? I don't know about Ivy. I think that question might be wrong. But I could think of one way. Maybe she just wants to practice her spell and have somebody to practice it on. And we know Bean wants to cast the spell on Nancy because Bean just likes to torture her. Um, did we notice any details that indicate that Bean is actually kind? I think we've seen a bunch of ways that both characters have been kind. Think about those for Monday. All right. So we know that Ivy's calm. She's quiet. She's a reader. Likes to be alone. She's surprising, right? She's definitely creative. Can we also put mischievous in here? She wanted to cast that spell. And I think we can put creative over here because I think Bean is very creative with the pranks that she comes up with, right? And I think we can put kind, right? Because she did when she told Bean about wanting to do the spell on her, she said sorry and she meant it. And we know Bean is kind. Well, we have caring up here, so kind, caring, because she's always helping out people. She really doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. She was polite, remember? She was, where did it say? When Ivy was talking about her black coat, what did Bean say? Did you make it yourself? Yeah. It's nice, said Bean politely. But she actually thought it looked goofy, right? So she was really showing that she was kind. She wasn't going to down her jacket. Alrighty. So, boys and girls, you have a Flipgrid response for today. Ivy was going to test the dancing spell on Bean. What does that detail tell you about Ivy as a character? I'm giving you a sentence starter. When Ivy was going to test the dancing spell on Bean, I think that tells us that Ivy is blank as a character. Now, bonus. I'd love to give some bonus points. You'll get a 5 on your Flipgrid if you can tell me what in the text showed that Ivy was this way. Now, the one new one that came up this time, well, 2 new ones, were mischievous and kind. So give me a proof from the story that shows that they're mischievous and kind. You could actually use creative too. Those 3 definitely happened in this chapter, right? All right. Now, boys and girls, you're going to go to your Flipgrid and do that response. I'm also going to give you a quick quiz on the first 4 chapters of Ivy and Bean. So it'll probably be it's going to be multiple choice, so don't worry. For those of you, it's not going to be any written responses. It's going to be multiple choice, so you'll get your answers right away. And I'll put a link on our Bitmoji Classroom for you. I hope all of you found the link for our lesson for Thursday. It was right here. And I look forward to seeing your Flipgrids. So your to-do list for today is to watch the video, Flipgrid Friday for Ivy and Bean. You're going to do your reading quiz, which will be, I'll put a link right down here for the quiz. You're going to do lesson 4 of Zern, and you're going to do a Flipgrid Friday for math. So the Flipgrid Friday for math is an easy one, but I'm looking for you to explain how you solved it. All right. So have fun with it. I hope this video didn't go too long, and I can't wait to see you guys again on Friday. Have a great weekend. Remember, you can always put some ideas of what you did over the weekend in your Flipgrid weekend one. All right. Have fun with it. I'll talk to you guys on Monday.